Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Exploring My Minecraft World. Today, we are exploring all 5 towns that make up the northwest of the country. Today, we are one north on our grid system, straight from the national center that is Briarwood. This is a town called South Andrews, and this is based on the area of Switzerland called Solothurn. Now, I have unintentionally made all of these stadiums based on the ones in Boston. I promise I didn't do it on purpose. And actually, I lied to you. Not the arena. The arena, despite the name TD Forum, is not based on TD Garden. It's actually based on Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, or at least it will be when it's done. It's got this orange color scheme. This one here is home to the South Andrews Solars, which is the hockey team, and the South Andrews Frogs, which is the basketball team you see it set up for right now. Eventually, it'll be based around Scotiabank Arena, like I said, in Toronto. South Andrews sits one directly north of Briarwood. It is kind of the hub to go any direction in the northern half of the country. In order to go north of basically the zero north-south line, you have to go up to South Andrews, and we'll explore the directions west and north in this video, because if you go east, then you're going to be in the northeast, and that is covered in a separate video. Over here is the football stadium based around Gillette Stadium. Now, I've kind of flipped it. You see the bridge section is on the left side of the end zone rather than the right side of the end zone over here. So I've basically just kind of mirrored this. Right now it's set up in its soccer formation for the South Andrews Rangers, which is the soccer team. The football team is called the South Andrews Choppers. We have some soccer locker rooms over here. These are just guest locker rooms. I have a blue one here and a green one on this other side. Pink seats. It's the only stadium, football stadium, I should say, with pink seats. The teams are pink and gray and pink and blue in their respective color schemes. And then back here is basically a replication, or it will be a replication, of Fenway Park. This one is called Tonberry Park. It's home to the South Andrews Rams baseball team. It has green seats rather than red seats and red brick walls rather than green walls like Fenway Park does. And you'll notice that I flipped the outfield here. So the green monster, or more specifically the ivy monster or the brick monster, is in right field here, whereas the bullpens are going to be beyond the far left field fence. Not very near completion by any means. Sorry, my screen is lagging just a hair there. But we will go to the north here, and we're going to go west to start with. So once we're in South Andrews, like I said, it's 1 north, 0 west, east. You have the option to go all 3 directions. There are 2 towns to the west, 2 towns to the north, and all of the northeast to the east. Today, we're going to start by going to the west. So hop in our boat and go on our fast transit system here. I've said it in several videos before, and you've probably gotten sick of hearing me say this, but each town is about 5 minutes walk apart. You can get between the 2 towns, or in any 2 towns, between them by going on the high-speed rail system. It usually takes a little under or a little over a minute. But if we go 1 north, 1 west, that is going to take us to a town called Jurwich, or Jurich, depending on how you want to pronounce it, based on the area of Switzerland called Jura, or Jura. And this one is a kind of a quick jaunt. It's definitely less of a journey than all of the other towns. But this right here, if you've been following on the Instagram page, which there should be a link to in the description below. This is Walmart Field. This is based on Target Field in Minneapolis, of course, with a flipped outfield. So you see the Target Plaza here, or we could rename it anything, like Walmart Plaza with the overhang is now in left field. The little tiny upper deck seat section in right field is now in left field, as well as is the section formerly called the Powerball Pavilion. I've replaced the spruce tree, or put back, I should say, the spruce trees in center field that have been removed from Target Field since it opened. There's that center field scoreboard there. A little seat section that is no longer there. It's now a bar. Double stacked bullpens unfinished in right field there. And then the main upper deck section. This will be what is the Budweiser Tower, or the Budweiser deck at Target Field. I haven't decided on a beer sponsor name yet. But back here is my one of my favorite stadiums that I have built so far. This is RBC Arena, and this is based on VTB Arena in Moscow. Now, VTB Arena is a real stadium, home to the two separate teams of Dynamo Moscow. Now, Dynamo Moscow is a sports club that covers multiple sports. They have a soccer team and a hockey team, and they both play in the same venue. Two separate stadiums under one roof. And that's essentially what I've done here. This will be one giant venue once it's finished, home to four separate teams. So over here's the arena. You can see we're just kind of getting started. It's one of the smaller arenas in town here, but this one is home to the Jurwich Jesters, which is the hockey team, and the Jurwich Red Wings, which is the basketball team. Don't get that confused. I have not doubled up on names that you would find in actual professional sports, respective to their sports, I should say. The Jurwich Gentiles is the name of the American football team. As you see here, the soccer team is just called Jurwich United, but there's a big glass window section behind here. Eventually, there will be skyboxes behind the scoreboard of RBC Arena. And then the upper deck sections are not yet finished, but the arena is really starting to take shape here, or the stadium, I should say. Back down here, we're going to have some more guest locker rooms. I do have all three soccer locker rooms. So these are the two visiting locker rooms here. I don't have the ceilings put on them yet for whatever reason. I think I was just working on this yesterday. But I got a blue and yellow one on this side and a purple, green, and white one on this side. And the home locker room to Jurwich United is over here. Their colors are teal and red. So that is Jurwich. We go back over to the transit system, and we have one more town to the west. And if I can find it on my little chart here, my little cheat sheet, we are going one north, two west, to a town called New Stavheim, or New Stavheim, if you want to pronounce the H. Now, this is based on, or once we get there, it will be, based on the part of Switzerland called Neuchâtel, which is a name that is in French. There's also a French town with that same name, but this is based on the Swiss side. Now, we have a couple different stadiums in New Stavheim, but the only one built, sorry, we are losing control of my boat here. I'm losing connection. I do apologize. One sec. Let me stop making you dizzy and get control of my boat here and try to go straight. If you do hear rolling in the background, that is because my cat is in my studio playing with something down below. I'm having serious trouble steering this boat right now, and I think it's because I'm staring at two separate screens at the same time. So let's try to straighten this thing out. But like I said, there's only one stadium that I've built so far for New Stavheim, and that is Blue Moon Field, which is based on Lambeau Field, home of the Green Bay Packers. Now, this is home to both the New Stavheim Machine, which is the football team, and New Stavheim Town, which is the soccer team. Now, here you see what is at Lambeau Field, the new expansion that they built in 2013. Obviously, all of the seats have not been put in place. The lower bowl is also not finished here. But there will be a massive scoreboard at the top of that, and then a massive lower bowl that circles around these three sides, along with the glass upper deck sections there. It will be set up for soccer in its current situation. And then, of course, I have this little marker to mark where I will have the tunnels into the main level there. Eventually, I will also have the Lambeau Field atrium. And then the baseball stadium will be based on Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, home to the New Stavheim Wildcats. And then a hockey and basketball arena based on the Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, home to the New Stavheim Colts and the New Stavheim Rhinos. We're going to go all the way back to South Andrews here. So we got a bit of a hike, but the two towns that await us, or at least the town that we will finish the video with, is one of my favorite towns in the entire world, and that is Garler. It is the furthest north that you can go in this world. But we are going all the way back to South Andrews. Like I said, the only way to get north or south in this world is to go, if you need to go south, then you have to go east-west on the 0 grid. And if you want to go north anywhere, you have to go east-west on the 1 north grid. So that is centered around South Andrews. The 0 is centered around Briarwood. Hop on here, go back towards South Andrews. We have one more trip east, and then we will go 1 north, and then another 1 north to close out the video here. Now, do excuse me for a quick second. I'm going to put down my microphone and go yell at my cat for making too much noise. But I will continue traveling. If you hear silence, I do apologize. All right, now that that empty air is off and we are back traveling, we're back in South Andrews here. So there's that stadium that's based around Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. And this is the North Central Station. So this is the hub in order to get anywhere in the northern half of the world, like I said. South brings you back to Briarwood. East brings you to all of the northern towns. East of South Andrews. West obviously takes you to the northwest. And straight north, we are going to go from here. And straight north of South Andrews is a little town, let me find it on my chart here, called Listelli, and that is based on Liestal in Switzerland. There's going to be a few different stadiums. The one that is most built right now is called Hilton Park, and that is home to the Listelli Squirrels baseball team and is based around Lone Depot Park, home of the Miami Marlins in Miami, Florida. It should pop up on our right. It's got very distinct orange seats. I decided to do orange seats. I usually do random colors. I don't want to replicate stadiums with the same color seats because I want to see them look just that slightly different or see what we can do by changing up the dynamics of the stadiums that we're replicating. But I wanted to do orange to kind of bring back that Marlins vibe back when they were at what is now called Hard Rock Stadium. And back when they played at Hard Rock Stadium, the seats weren't teal like they are now. They were orange. So this is kind of harkening back, little inside joke, I guess, as a reference to that. But this is Hilton Park. Obviously, the outfields have been flipped, so the big windows that sit at Lone Depot Park are now going to be in right field. I'm going to bring back the pool section. When Lone Depot Park opened as Marlins Park in 2012, they did become the second ballpark after Chase Field to have a swimming pool. They have since taken that out. It's now just kind of a club that you can rent out. And of course, they don't have the home run sculpture. I think I'm going to rebuild that eventually, but then, of course, you have the upper deck section in left field here. Center field scoreboard, a big pillared section here. There's going to be a bunch of pillars, but this, like I said, is Hilton Park, home of the Listelli Squirrels. And right behind here, if I'm not mistaken, is the start of what will eventually be Bell Field, and that is based on Allianz Field in St. Paul, Minnesota, home of Minnesota United FC. But right now, this is going to be home of the Listelli Tropics, the American football team, and the Listelli Rovers, the soccer team. We will also have an arena called the Sinai Center, which will be based on the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, home of the Brooklyn Nets, of course. That'll be home to the Listelli Riders hockey team and Listelli Electric, the basketball team. Let's go one more north, the last town we will hit on this video, and that is going to be Garler, like I said. The furthest north you can go in this world. Garler has a bunch of different things, all of them unfinished, but a lot of cool ideas that I have going into the future of this town, which I'm really excited to kind of show you where things are starting. Starting to rain, so I do apologize if your screen gets dark and you're unable to see all of what I want to show you. Your view is probably going to diminish just slightly. But we travel along here. I mentioned in a previous video, eventually all of these towns will have some kind of landscaping or decoration along the sides of the tracks to make the areas feel distinct. So mountains, maybe eventually forests for sure, some kind of plains or plateaus. I doubt I'm going to do deserts if this is based on Switzerland, but each town will feel very distinct, not just with its buildings, but kind of the way it is landscaped or the way it feels with various geographic heights or depths or that sort of thing. There will be lakes, rivers, all the like. But we pop out here, and this is Garler. This is 2 straight north of South Andrews, which means it's 3 north of Briarwood. This right here, with its lime seats behind the outfield and blue seats in the outfield, this is essentially Wrigley Field. But this one here is called, let me find where Garler is on my list. 1 second here. Garler is based on Basel in Switzerland, and this is Hershey Field, home of the Garler Catamounts. So if we go out here, of course, I'm working on doing the seats across the street, the upper deck apartment bleachers over here. And here, if you look at it at the right angle, kind of looks like a Hershey's bar as close as I could in Minecraft, but that is behind the scoreboard at Hershey's Field. So we got a couple of different apartment complexes or townhouse complexes that I'm working on here. But if you go back this way, you will probably have seen this on the Instagram page too. This is based on Neuschwanstein in Bavaria. Obviously, I've changed the color of the gatehouse to make it green instead of red. Still being worked on, still a lot of work to do, but essentially the shell of the castle is here. It's one of the coolest locations I've ever actually been to in real life, but this will be essentially an exact replica of Neuschwanstein. And then back here is Caesars Stadium. This is based on Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, just like we were talking about the former Sun Life Stadium, the former Dolphin Stadium, currently just home of the Miami Dolphins. It's going to have distinct red seats, which is something that stadium has never had, but this will replicate that almost perfectly if I can do it exactly how I want to, even with the new roof and the corner scoreboards, but this will be based on Hard Rock Stadium, and it is home to the Garler Elves, which is the football team, and Garler 93, the soccer team. Eventually, I will also add a replica of Madison Square Garden. That is next on my list of things to build, and that'll be called Apple Arena, home to the Garler Monarchs and the Garler Barbarians. Let me know what you guys thought. If there's anything you want me to cover or show you updates on that has been shown in a previous video or that you have seen on the Instagram page, let me know in the comments section below. Let me know of other things that you think I should build or try to replicate, and I will see if I can do that for you. Check out all of the other videos in the bottom left-hand corner. There should be a link to other Minecraft videos in this series, and in the meantime, we hope to see you very, very soon.